Hello everybody, Brian Kukan here again with WeSPARK. Hello community, everyone out there on the interwebs. Figured I would switch it up a little bit this time and focus more on meditation than on Reiki. At the heart of any Reiki practice is a consistent meditation practice, and it was through meditation that got me into Reiki and that hooked me. So figured I would start working with that. And I've been teaching a lot of kids meditation recently. I go into high school classrooms in their health classes and talk about stress management with them. And one thing that I like to discuss with them is that I don't like the term stress management. And people will talk about deep breathing or meditation as a way of managing stress. But in studying the nature of the mind through meditation and philosophies and hypnosis and NLP and things like that, using the word stress in stress management puts focus on the word stress, and we don't need to focus on that too much. I think we have plenty of reasons to be stressed, so we don't need to look for more stress. And if we're using stress management skills, that means we need stress in order to manage, so we're constantly looking for things to stress us out, and I don't think that's a positive way in terms of living and dealing with life. If you think about when there are times that you're not stressed, what I like to share is that you're probably on the spectrum somewhere of happiness, whether it's just a simple content and at ease, or really excited exuberance flowing through you, but somewhere on the realm of happy. And I would posit that that is our natural state of being, is being happy. And on this planet with 7 billion people, there's plenty of people and reasons to stress us out, so we really don't need to look for it. But one thing that we should, or I don't want to should on you, one thing that would benefit us all is to focus on your level of happiness. And that's why I don't like stress management, using the word stress. I would rather change it to happiness management, so that we're focused on our state of happiness. And if we can check in with ourselves and feel like we are happy, cool, we keep on going forward. But if we check in with ourselves and we're starting to stray away from that sense of happiness, then we need to check in and find out what's going on. Is there something that we can do right now to manage our lives and manage ourselves to get back to that state of happy? Or is it just the racket upstairs in our minds just delivering a bunch of negative thoughts that pull us away from that? And through meditation, you can gain that awareness. And specifically, I mostly focus on mindfulness in terms of being aware and learning how to be aware without judging it. One of the biggest things that I learned in terms of my relationships to my thoughts is that I am not my thoughts. Thoughts occur in the mind, and the challenge when you start meditating is just to be okay with whatever the thoughts are, and not necessarily following, not labeling them good or bad, just being okay with the nature of the thoughts that show up. And it's challenging at first, because I found when I was a math teacher that I always looked for students' mistakes, so I trained myself to look for the negatives in life so that I could fix them, but I was missing all of the positives that were already there. So I had to overcome my tendency to look for negatives. And in that aspect, I had a lot of negative thoughts and judgments and criticisms, self-criticisms and criticisms of the world out there. And I had to just realize that they were thoughts, let them go, and come back to something neutral. So when starting a meditation or doing a meditation practice, you always want to have something to focus on, whether it's a virtuous thought or activity, or just something simple. I always like to go with the breath. If you're alive and watching this right now, you're breathing. You don't have to think about it. You do it all the time. You don't even have to be awake to do it. You breathe while you sleep, and it's not good or bad, it's breath. And so going and training yourself to be in that neutral state can then pull you away from a state of negativity to something neutral, which can then move you back in the direction towards that sense of positivity in your state and in your being, so that you can go ahead and manage your life and your affairs and yourself a lot easier when you're in that neutral or happy state. And one thing is, since we don't really focus on our breath too much, we tend to breathe short and shallow breaths, and it's mostly in our upper chest area. And I read a book on yoga and yoga philosophy one time, and it talked about 3 parts of the breath, not just in the chest, but in the belly and in the ribs, and then up near the collarbone, where most of us just breathe shallowly. So I like to break the inhale into 3 parts, and I'll guide you through a meditation so that you can focus on deep breathing, but most importantly, focus on the different parts of your body where you can feel that breath, and you'll notice how much more air you can move in and out of your body. And as you're getting yourself focused on that breath and that breathing modality, then you start to let go a lot of the thoughts that are traveling in your mind. I'm not telling you that you're going to stop your thoughts. I don't think I have too many moments in the day where thoughts don't pop into my mind, but it's just letting them go, because we're training ourselves to focus on something either virtuous or neutral, so that we can come and be a little bit more in control. And that's a benefit that we want, is to be able to have control of our minds, as opposed to letting it just jump around from thought to thought to thought, like a monkey jumping from branch to branch to branch as it's roaming around. We call that the monkey mind, and we want to kind of calm that down. And having something to focus on is like an anchor to hold you as you're just being, beaten by the weather, the storm of thoughts that are traveling through your mind. So having that anchor to hold in place and come back to is beneficial. So this first meditation we'll do, however long we have, we'll do as many meditations as we get through. But this first meditation, I'm going to walk you through. The first part we'll have you focus on will be in the belly, and then in the ribs, and then in the collarbone. But before we get into the specific practice of it, we just want to be able to calm down and get away from our conscious mind and get a little bit more into our body. The first challenge that you come across when you meditate is just keeping your eyes closed. And scientifically, there's a reason for that. Most of the information that we get from the world come in through our eyes. About 30% of the neurons in your cortex are devoted to your sense of sight, way more than the rest of the physical senses in your body. So if you close your eyes, your brain is not getting all of that information, and it starts freaking out. And it wants to know, is anyone looking at me? Does anyone else have their eyes closed? Am I safe? And that's the biggest thing. Am I safe? So you want to be in a safe atmosphere to remind yourself, it's okay to have my eyes closed right now. But your brain is still going to fight. It's going to give you many, many thoughts and reasons to open your eyes, because it wants to receive information. It's now like a kink in the hose. You're shutting off the flow of information into your brain. So one switch that we use is to focus on the breath, and more importantly, the feeling. So we give the brain information to calm it down. So we'll start with our sense of feeling, and then as we get into that and calm our minds down, then we'll start the specific practice of the breathing. So find yourself a way to sit comfortably in any meditative posture. You don't have to sit on the floor. You can sit in a chair. You can have your feet flat on the floor. I just like the meditation cushion. If I didn't have the meditation cushion, it would be more uncomfortable. My knees would be up. My back would get sore. This lifts my hips up. and allows my knees to come down onto the floor. You can have your legs just a simple cross. You can do the half lotus. You can have the ankle to ankle, whatever. You can do the other style. I'm not going to get into all that. We want to do some meditation. So sit comfortably, however that is for you. And then just start to close your eyes. You want to just get comfortable with your eyes closed. And if it's possible, just breathe in and out through your nose for now. If it's blocked up and challenging, then breathe through your mouth. But for now, since we can close our mouth, we close our mouth. We can't close our nose, so that must remain open. So let's just breathe through there. We can close our eyes, so we do. It turns off another sense. So we're closing off the sense of taste, closing off the sense of sight. We don't have earlids, so the ears have to stay open. You'll hear sounds. You're listening to me, of course. But, just let sounds happen as they do. And just breathing in and out through the nose. And I like to start by taking my attention, and I invite you to do the same. Take your attention to the openings at your nostrils. And with your attention focused there, start to feel the air moving in and out through your nose as you inhale and exhale. I know the first time that I did that, I was amazed because I could feel the air moving. I could feel the air touching the openings of my nostrils. I could tell that it was moving in as I inhaled and that it was flowing out as I exhaled. And as you direct your attention, and more specifically your brain, to sense the air touching the openings of your nostrils, your awareness starts to expand, and you probably feel the air touching the inner linings of your nostrils. And just take a few breaths and notice the sensation of the air touching the inner linings of your nostrils as you inhale and as you exhale. Depending on where you are, you might notice that your inhale seems to cool down your nostrils, and the exhale tends to warm them back up. The air outside of your body is at a lower temperature, most likely. So as you inhale it, it cools down the inner linings of your nostrils. When you exhale, you have warmer air inside of your body that you're exhaling through your nose, and that warms up the inner linings of your nostrils. So just for a few moments, notice this alternating cooling and warming sensation inside of your nose. Your breath may have started to slow down, become more rhythmic, finding a comfortable pace that's natural for you. And that happens automatically. You're just paying attention and watching it naturally happen. As your breath slows down and becomes more constant in its rhythm, it has the effect on your body. It starts calming down your heart, starts activating your digestive system, turning on the parasympathetic nervous system. And even though you have something to pay attention to, this cooling and warming sensation in the nose, it's not like the thoughts are going to stop. They'll still be there. They'll show up every once in a while. But when the thought shows up, just imagine that it's a balloon that just floats off in the distance. And then bring your attention back to feeling your breath. Some thoughts are more attractive than others. They might start to pull you away. But just thank that thought for sharing with you, but let it float on and come back, feeling the cooling and warming sensation as you breathe. As you get used to feeling the cooling and warming sensation inside of your nose, again, your awareness might expand. You might start to feel the air flowing all the way back into your sinuses. And if you know your anatomy, you know the path that the air travels, so you might feel the air flow through your nose, through your sinuses. You might even feel it in the back of your throat as it reaches down into your chest and fills your lungs. And then as you exhale and you follow the path on the way back out, you might feel it pass through your throat, back through your sinuses, and then out through your nose. On your next inhale, follow the air through your nose, sinuses, throat, into your chest, and take your attention down into your belly. And hold your attention down at your belly and notice any movement that you have there. Now we're going to start to shift and make changes to our breath. So we're going to change from having a natural breath to controlling the breath a little bit. So on your next exhale, gently pull your belly button back towards your spine to assist in pushing the air out of your lungs. And then when you inhale, allow the belly to inflate, relaxing the muscles and having the belly move forward. And then when you exhale, pull the belly button back towards your spine, adjusting the exhale, and then inhale and allow the belly to move forward. So the belly is going to have this forward and backward movement to it, and just focus on that belly movement. And if you can, if it's comfortable, on the inhales, keep inhaling and push your belly out even further. Really get this feeling of the belly moving forward and backwards, and just see how far you can make it move. Now the second part of the breath, we're going to shift up to the rib cage, but keep the belly moving forward and backwards on the inhale and exhale. So on your next inhale, when your belly goes forward, keep it forward, and then take your attention to your rib cage. Keep inhaling, relax the muscles around your ribs, and expand them sideways. And then on the exhale, again, just pull your belly button back towards your spine. Now we're creating more space in the ribs as we inhale. So we still initiate the inhale with the belly going forward. And once it's forward, we get the ribs going to the side. Belly might fall back a little bit as we create more space in the torso. But really focus on the ribs going sideways. So the ribs, you're just going to create more space and go out sideways on the inhale. And then on their own, they fall back into place on the exhale. So now we have two parts of the breath, the belly going forward on the inhale, the ribs going sideways on the inhale. Then on the exhale, just pulling the belly button back towards the spine, assisting the exhale, the ribs fall back into place on their own. The third part of the breath is going to be up around the collarbone. So as the belly goes forward with the inhale, then the ribs kick in sideways, then lift the collarbone and breathe all the way up to fill your lungs up to your collarbone. Then as you exhale, pull the belly button back towards the spine. And I like to see how slow I can make my breath while doing this, to really enjoy each breath. And so sometimes I'll count maybe 1, 2, 3 for the belly, 1, 2, 3 for the ribs, and 1, 2, 3 for the collarbone. And then turn around and count on the exhale, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it'd be something like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then exhaling. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Take another breath or two just like that, focusing on the movement of the belly, the ribs, and the collarbone with each inhale and exhale. after your next exhale, go ahead and open your eyes. And check in with yourself and see how you feel after that. Some people might feel a little lightheaded because you're moving so much CO2 out of your body and so much oxygen in. Your body's not used to receiving that much oxygen, so some people will say that they feel a little lightheaded. A lot of people will say they feel a little bit more relaxed than they did when they started. Some people might have challenges in their body, and they might feel a little discomfort trying to control the breathing in the different parts of their body. That may happen as well. Adjust the practice as needed for what would suit you. But a few of the benefits for that one, because of the depth of the breath and the slowing down of it, it tends to relax the body and the mind and has something for you to focus on, so it is drifting a little less as long as you keep bringing yourself back to feel the different parts of the body as you experience the meditation. A couple things to note: as you're moving your belly forward, what I like to think is happening physiologically is that you're deepening the breath. So you're not necessarily moving the belly forward as much as you're pushing the diaphragm down. And as you're pushing the diaphragm down, it's then putting pressure on your digestive organs. All those organs have nowhere else to go because you have backbone and the back ribs back here, so it starts to push forward. And then I instruct you to pull your belly button back towards your spine. You exhale, your diaphragm goes up, there's more space, but you're pulling back and then squishing the organs back. So you have this squishing down and squishing back of the digestive organs. Well, here's something to think about. The organs are made of a soft muscle tissue, a smooth muscle tissue. Muscle tissues, really like massages. When you rub out your muscles, it tends to smooth them out. It helps relieve tension, helps relieve stress, helps us relax a little bit more. You're massaging your internal organs when you're breathing like that. So you're giving yourself an internal massage. So you're relaxing yourself from the inside out. And the same thing when you're expanding the ribs, you're then expanding the lungs that much more, you're massaging your heart. So all of your internal organs are getting this internal massage, and that's why you're starting to relax a little bit more. You're relaxing yourself from the inside out. So take these deep breaths and allow yourself to give yourself an internal massage and train your mind to then focus on something simple and neutral, just the breath. Now, it looks like we're about out of time, so I led that meditation a little longer than I thought that I would. But if you would like to do a shorter version, I don't know how long that was, watch this video again, be led through it. I also, on my website, kukanreiki.com/meditations, I have a 10-minute version of that same meditation to break it apart into the three parts: the belly, the rib, and the collarbone. And just practice it. Whatever thoughts pass through your mind, just let them pass through your mind, but bring yourself back to focusing on something neutral and allow your body to clean out the CO2 and bring in the oxygen, bring in the O2, help your body kind of move all of that stuff and relax yourself from the inside out. So until next time, Ryan Kukan here for WeSPARK. Check out my website, kukanreiki.com. Come check out WeSPARK, get some Reiki sessions, get some other things. There's a Reiki circle coming up on the 28th, so RSVP for that. And I'll see you next time. All right, take care.